Hello, I'm Richard, and welcome to my channel over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. I just really wanted to do this quick live video, really, just to commemorate the fact that it's on this day in 1913, the 6th of September, that Arsenal played their first ever match as a North London club. It was quite a big story at the time. Arsenal's chairman, Sir Henry Norris, he was quite a controversial figure in football at that particular time. Now, he had initially tried to get Arsenal and Fulham to amalgamate because he felt that it was difficult getting crowds to Plumstead, where Arsenal played at the time, because of public transport wasn't great. And he knew that to make the club grow, he needed to move. Now, I say he had involvement with Fulham, and he was trying to get the two clubs joined together and merge into one big sort of London super club. But unfortunately, that move was blocked. So his alternative was to find a new ground for Arsenal, and the area at Highbury came up. It was actually owned by the St John's College of Divinity. It was their basic sports facility ground. Now, he managed to get it. The main reason why he picked that particular location was because of the London Underground station, which was right outside. At that particular time, it was called Gillespie Road. But of course, later on in the 1930s, after Arsenal started to have a lot of success, the name of the tube station was changed, of course, to Arsenal. Now, Arsenal had basically only 10 weeks to get the ground ready from the day that they secured it until the first game of the season, which was going to be against a clean team called Leicester Fosse, which were basically the old Leicester City team. And I say that first game was on the 6th of September. Now, at that time, the ground wasn't really completed properly. The grandstand had no roof still. The terraces were just basically mud banks. And that was how the game started. Now, of course, health and safety today would have had a field day, wouldn't they, with a ground that wasn't quite ready. But, of course, in them days, things were slightly different. And actually, a crowd of 20,000 turned up that first game, which was a lot higher than the previous crowds Arsenal had been getting in Plumstead prior to that. Now, Arsenal did win that game. It was in Division 2. You've got to remember, Arsenal had just been relegated, actually. The previous season, 2012, 1912, 1913, they'd been relegated out of the first division. It's the only time Arsenal have ever been relegated in their whole history. They finished bottom of the first division with one of the poorest ever records. I think they only won 3 games that season. So they were starting a new season, not only in a new stadium, but also a new part of London, but in a new division, back in Division 2 as well. And that first game, I say, against Leicester Fosse, Arsenal did end up winning 2-1. The first goal scorer at the new stadium was a player called George Joby, who scored with a header. And later on in that game, it was Archie Devine who scored the second goal, and Arsenal won 2-1. Now, the facilities were so poor at that time that later on in that game, George Joby suffered an injury, and he had to actually be carried on a milk float down the street to get treated, because there was no facilities at the ground to treat an injured player. So can you imagine that now? The situation now just wouldn't have happened, would it? Of course, you know, from such a humble beginning, if you like, at Highbury, of course, Arsenal, not only did they begin to have success eventually, of course, from 1930, after the appointment of Herbert Chapman as manager, and they also managed to redevelop the stadium. Of course, the great east and west stands that were eventually put in place became listed buildings, of course. And it's just a shame, isn't it, that Arsenal were not able to remain there forever. And of course, in 2006 came about the move to the Emirates Stadium. Of course, now the ground at Highbury has been turned into flats. Very nice they are as well, with a big green in the middle where the pitch used to be. But of course, it's not the same. And, you know, I'm sure I'm not the only one who misses Highbury. So I just really wanted to do a little video today just to really commemorate. It's 107 years today since the very first match. It was a momentous occasion for the club. We became a North London club, of course, for the first time. The move initially, of course, there was a lot of opposition to the move, you know, from Tottenham mainly, obviously just up the road to them, Clapton Orient as well. There were a few other London clubs that weren't very happy about us moving, but there was nothing that the league could have done to prevent it really. So it got approved. Because the ground was, I say it was a College of Divinity, so initially Arsenal wasn't allowed to play games on Christmas Day and on Easter Sunday, or on any Sunday, I believe, at Highbury. But eventually, of course, Arsenal bought the ground themselves, and then they were able to do that. Although, of course, Christmas Day games have now stopped, haven't they? A long time ago, but back in the sort of 30s and 40s and 50s, they were quite popular. So that's just briefly a little history there on this day, I say, in 1913, when Arsenal, of course, played their first match at Highbury against Leicester Fosse. They won 2-1. And of course, that was the start of the club as we know it today, really, was kind of born from that point, really. I mean, I know the club existed before in Plumstead, of course, called Woolwich Arsenal. And of course did play in the first division for a few years as well, and reached 2 FA Cup semi-finals as well. But it was only really after the move to Highbury that Arsenal started the journey that led us to become the club, of course, that we are today. Of course, a successful club, one of the most successful clubs in the country, one of the most successful clubs in Europe, in actual fact. And, you know, if it wasn't for that move, there'd be a lot of us who may not have even ever supported Arsenal. If the club had stayed in Plumstead, would they have been able to attract the same audience and the same crowds that they managed to do and have the same success? We'll never know, of course. But it seems quite clear that Arsenal's the start of the modern Arsenal, if you like, the club that we know today, started on this day 107 years ago with the first match at the brand new Highbury Stadium. It is quite a sad day in a sense as well, because of course we're not playing there anymore. I personally miss the place a lot, as I'm sure most of you do. But I suppose it's the time, isn't it? There's probably were people at the time when we moved to Highbury that probably missed being in Plumstead. And I suppose that's just the way it is, isn't it? So, but that was just that's a little video there today. If you are enjoying my channel and if you are liking the stuff that I'm doing, you know, I do try to keep it fresh and modern, and you know, with the current stuff that's going on in transfers and obviously going into the new season as well. But I also like to be, I'm fully aware and really appreciate the history of the club. So I do like to throw in some videos, you know, focusing on the history of the club, some great former matches and players, all that kind of stuff. And I say on certain days when there's been certain anniversaries of big events in the club's history, I feel that it's important to mark those occasions. And I say today is one of those occasions. I say it is a real big day in the history of the club, and I feel as though it was worthy of a video. So I'll say, if you do like my channel, please subscribe. It's quite important to me to help to grow the channel. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up as well. And if you're liking any of the other videos that I'm doing, I've got some stuff coming up this week ahead of the new season, some good shows. I've got a few videos, again, a couple of historical pieces as well. I've got a video that's coming out tomorrow looking at the opening day of the season over the last few years, all the first matches of the season ahead of the Fulham game. I'll have a full preview video as well, obviously, of that game against Fulham coming up later in the week as well. And I'm hoping to get a live show on, actually. Everybody seems busy at the moment this week. Obviously, it's a busy week, isn't it, coming into the new season? So I'm not sure whether I'll be able to get that off the ground or not. I'm hoping I can. I'm appearing on a couple of other people's shows on other channels, including the Mr. Arsenal podcast and Albert JTV, which I'll be on tonight. Actually, both of those tonight, actually, as well. And there's a preview show on Friday as well, the Mr. Arsenal podcast I'll be on. But I'm trying to get my own live show organised as well, some point during the week, a preview of the Fulham game, and obviously the new season as well, where I'm quite confident that we can have a decent season. I'm not going to get carried away at this stage, but I'm confident we can have a decent season anyway. So that's that for now. So please subscribe to my channel. Thanks to everyone who's watched all my videos so far. Thanks for anyone who's watching this video now. If you do it, I say if you enjoy it, please subscribe, because it's really important to help me grow the channel. All the support that I've had so far, really much appreciated. I've been quite humbled actually by the feedback that I've had. You know, I started this channel mainly because I wanted to offer something a little bit different to a lot of the Arsenal channels that's out there. You know, I wanted to be a little bit more positive. I wanted to do a little bit more historical stuff on the club as well. And to say the feedback I've been getting has been really positive, and I'm grateful to everybody for that. I'll continue to try to make videos that you enjoy watching about the club, and I hope that you'll continue to watch. and share the videos around as well, to get me in front of a new audience, which is also quite important to me. So that's that for today and for now. I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little kind of a memento of the day that we first played our first ever match at Highbury. I mean, 107 years ago. I mean, it's amazing, really, isn't it, when you think about it, to be that long ago, that the whole history of the club changed. It's incredible, really, isn't it? And from those humble beginnings of a ground that wasn't even completed to the stadium that we play in now, the name that we are throughout the world of football, the one man we've got to thank for that, really, I guess, is Sir Henry Norris, isn't it? And I say he wasn't the most popular figure in football at the time, but he certainly was instrumental in making Arsenal the club that it is today, and a club that we all love. And so that is down to the work that he did. So I say thanks for watching that. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned to my channel for loads of good stuff coming up. And of course, as always, in the meantime, until I see you all again, come on, you Gunners!